I've started a little bit early just because they still insist on using this bloody ridiculous. They got rid of the house decoder. Oh bloody hell! Encoder. They got rid of the house encoder. Now then, a bit earlier than normal. I was planning about 2 minutes earlier, but hopefully I'll get plenty of people here. I've got to just check something. All right. I just want. I just got to ask someone. All right. Okay. Yeah. Right. So I'm live. And hello to Brassneck 66. Greetings. And Woody Black. Hello. And Saber 886. And Simon Tucker. And Cheryl Nanette. Oh, how are you? And GS Evolved. Hey, nice. And David Gregg. Strange Things in the Sky, Ben. Oh, really? Okay. Safety Man 460458. Hello. How are you all? Now I've got to. What have I got to remember to do, guys? I remembered this time. Maybe I'll give it another minute. Just so. Brassneck has a question for me. What kind of reach have I got in the US? Oh, quite a bit. Roughly, I think it's about a third of my viewers. It's quite. I'm mostly Britain. I think I've over half Britain, and I think US is second, about a third, and the rest is the rest of the world. Hello, Steve-071. Oh, thank you, guys. Okay, I think it's safe to share the. I'm going to share now the videos or the live stream. So I'll do Twitter first. Although why am I bloody bothering? They're probably going to delete it. Oh, Twitter! I've gone full fash. I'll tell you all about it in a minute. Let's see. I'm going to put hashtag Trump. There's all those. See, these are just a list of, just out of interest and aside. This is what's trending on Twitter right now. Trump meltdown. Trump is losing. Trump is a laughing stock. Trump collapse. But there's this, I've just got to scroll down. I get to Trump 2020 to save America. That's the one I'm going to use. You see, very, very you see, totally biased, aren't they? Yep, I will. I might even. Oh yeah. Well, actually, most people actually know about this anyway. But anyway, so now, Cuckerberg, fuckbook, facecloth, whatever you call it. Oh, they're almost as bad as Twitter, actually. And post to Facebook. All right, there you go. Yeah. So, greetings to everybody who's joined. Hugo Rune, hello, how are you? Cheryl, fascist commies. They are exactly that. Yes, they really are. Brassneck says, put out to your US watchers to give you a thumbs up by those who actually voted for Trump. Have a live update on your show. I'd be glad if anyone is from the US. I know that a couple of you are. People who regularly join in the chatter, actually, such as David from Maine. Or he's not here yet. But, yeah, Lisa, how are you? Trump is more clever than a lot of them. And here's to 4 more years, evening or high, Ben. Yes, exactly. I know, so if any of you are expecting, especially any of you Bidenistas out there, are expecting me to come on and lament, you're going to be disappointed because this is not a lamenting show. Oh, Cheryl is from, what's MT? Okay. What does MT mean? Sorry, Montana, is it? Animal Auntie Bev, hello. Lisa says it's going to be a long haul, but will be worth it. Yeah. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about how Montana. Oh, right, Cheryl. That's right. Yeah, that's where the alien spacecraft landed in Arrival, I remember. Aliens are always aliens, aren't they? I always get into the aliens. Oh, let me just share this. I'm going to share this in the groups, actually. I'll do it now. Yep, this is good. This is going to be a happy show again, right? This is whatever you might have heard. If you watch the bloody mainstream media, you'll be really depressed because the mainstream media are doubling down on all kinds of crap. But honestly, this is good. What's happened is good. So I'll just just share this around. and Third Rail Radio. I wonder if they'll accept it in the Trump group, because there's a UK Trump group. We love President Trump UK. I'll try sharing it in there and see what happens. Absolutely. Nihilist Lives Matter says, interesting times we're living in. Yeah. And Montana, right you are. Max Organ, hello. Quid pro quo, Joe Biden, Ebola Harris. Oh, that could have... Borders to Canada are closed. Oh my god. Brassneck says, well, I wasn't particularly looking forward to a crap evening. That's good, because there's going to be white pills in this particular video. It's going to be white pills. It's going to be it's going to be more white pills than a box of Tic Tacs, I promise you. Hello, Fenlander. And hello, Tisme Denny. How are you? Great. David Gregg says, was it a 120-year-old? Yeah, there's actually 140 years is the record so far. Someone born in 1880 voted. I swear Abraham Lincoln is going to turn up and vote. The man who died in 1865 is going to come along and vote. Got 39 people watching now. 39 people voting. Got hundreds of thousands of people suddenly voting for Biden, aren't they? Yeah. Show on the net. Definitely real humans won't take AVAX or creep like Biden. Yeah. Steve says, Ben, do you like kebabs? I like the chicken ones. And Tisme says, I'm from the UK, originally from Kent, and now live in Somerset. All right. Hope you can cope with the culture shock. Time-travelling voters, yeah. Nihilist says, if the Dems were sophisticated enough to steal the election, wouldn't they be sophisticated enough to counterfeit watermarks? They will almost certainly have CIA sympathisers. Well, that's a possibility. I mean, the watermark thing is very interesting. I'll come on to that later on. But... and Lisa says that people have been queuing up for the test. Oh, God. Max Organ says, I voted and I've been dead for 5 years. Oh, dear. Well, you're looking well for it, Max. Okay, guys, I'm going to... Mr. MT, greetings. The end game is Harris to be president, and the game for the Democrats has always been Biden will be gone in a year, and they'll start leaking his sons. That was the plan. It's not going to work, but that's what they wanted. Yeah, that's what they wanted. Now, I'm going to just read out the lead-off now. I've got quite a long lead-off, so bear with me. If you have any... hello, Peaceful Warrior, greetings. And David Schultz, hello, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah. Don't worry, be Pappy. It's all a show for the masses. Go with the flow. I am, David, honestly. I'll explain in a little while why... I'll explain in a little while why that if you read the mainstream news and you're a Trump supporter, you'll think this is the end of everything. You'll think this is doom and gloom. It's not. This is brilliant. But let me just go through some things here. I'll just go through the lead off. So if you save your comments for me till I finish the lead off, otherwise I won't get to them. And I do hope you will stick with me at 8 p.m. because Kevin Logan is going live at 8 p.m. It's with a stream called Biden Wins, Trump and MAGA Chuds Huff Weapons-Grade Copium. Oh, like hell. So I hope you'll stick with me. Do I sound alright, by the way? I've reset my microphone so with a bit more gain. So if I'm too loud, just let me know. Anyway, what's happened since the last live stream? A hell of a lot has happened. It's all hell's breaking loose, actually. And what we're seeing right now is extraordinary. It's an extraordinary outcome, what has happened. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Hang on, I've just got to adjust my notes slightly. 1 second. Okay, go back. We are really seeing history being made here in an enormous way. Now, when I started this series of live streams on the US election night, which started with me being very, very compos mentis and ended up me being sleep deprived and drunk. If you've seen them, that's part 3, is the really embarrassing one. I was hoping for a Trump landslide. That was kind of the ideal outcome, would be a Trump landslide, which is understandable. But I was wrong. I was wrong on 2 counts. Firstly, there wasn't a Trump landslide. Secondly, the Trump landslide wasn't the best outcome. the best outcome for this election night that's just gone is exactly what has happened. Now, Trump, of course, is part of his mission is to uproot the deep state, expose the bad guys. And had he won a landslide in this election that's just gone, he would continue to do that. Things would continue at the pace they already have. He would continue to try and outroot the deep state and get rid of the bad guys. But what's happened instead is the bad guys have exposed themselves, which means that his second term, and there is going to be a second term, make no mistake about that, is going to be far easier and much more successful and very different to his first term. It's going to be far better than his first term. Now, there are a whole load. I can go through some of the basic incidents that happened overnight, which is really extraordinary. I can't go through every single piece of evidence of electoral fraud which has come about, but because it's massive. I mean, there's a massive, full spectrum, actually doorstep-sized dossier of evidence that has been collected which support electoral fraud. This is what they're not telling you in the mainstream media. The mainstream media is they're just simply doubling down, and they're talking about this election as if it's just a normal election. It's not a normal election. It's actually, I'm not even going to bother looking at the election page actually to see what progress has been made, because honestly, it's a farce. It's a charade, and it's going to be declared null and void. It's going to literally have to be completely redone. But just to give you an example, I mean, this happened actually something weird happened between 4 and 5 a.m. and I actually didn't mention it in my third live stream because I didn't notice it because I'd had a bit too much of the old JD, and I was also very tired. But one of the key states that Trump needed, I mean, all the battleground states, Trump is actually launching a massive lawsuit at the moment, and all it concerns, really, I think there was like 11 different states where there is suspicious activity. I think that was what he said. I think he said 11. And literally all the battleground states that were crucial to this election, massive voter fraud, huge amount of evidence. But for example, between 4 and 5 a.m., Michigan and Wisconsin are two states that were absolutely crucial in this. Together they represent about 30 electoral college votes. Excuse me. I've got a bit of a cough. Trump was leading quite distinctly in both of them, and then suddenly something weird happened. I think in one of the states, I can't remember which one, just after 4 a.m., the line of, because if you're following the graph, because you have like a running total, and it results in a graph where you can see a line going along, or two lines, one red, one blue, one red for Republican, one blue for Democrat, and you can see which ones are ahead. And it's like a vector diagram. It's a running total, and suddenly, in one of the states, the blue one was way below, and then suddenly someone just seemed to move it above. It's weird. It looks like this hockey stick graph, which is so infamous in the climate change lie. It just suddenly, even more so, it just seemed to move. It's like someone just. It's like if you imagine a felt tip pen or something, someone going like that, and they went like that, and then it carried on. Which ironically looks a bit like the letter F, which is the first letter in fraud. There's some great memes about that from They Live and things like that with the sunglasses. And then 40 minutes later, the other state did the same, even bigger. It was even a bigger margin. Now, how do you explain this? I mean, it could be explained that they suddenly had a number of constituencies and counties declaring at the same time, immediately. But the weird thing is, that does happen. You get little, like, ticks in the graph where there's a sudden declaration in a large county. But usually what happens is both lines will move. One line will move more than the other, depending on how many people voted for Biden and how many people voted for Trump. But in this case, all of it was Biden votes. Every single one. The Trump line didn't move one iota. In fact, Trump's lines in all the contested states that are still counting has hardly shifted. And basically, all the votes that have been counted now, nearly all of them are Biden votes. I'll explain a bit more about that in a minute. But the number of votes between 4 and 5 p.m. in Michigan and Wisconsin that were cast for Joe Biden is equivalent to the population of Cardiff. Not the registered voters in Cardiff. Every single person in Cardiff. I heard that there was a 204% turnout in Milwaukee, which is Wisconsin's biggest city. I'm not sure. Not every single thing you hear is true, and there's some disinformation being put about. But there's absolutely no doubt there is an absolute mountain of evidence. This is easily enough to go to court with. And what's more, there was an interesting story that came out. I can't remember what the state was, but one of the others said, "Oh, we made a little mistake when we were counting. We just realised we'd added 100,000 Biden votes to our tally. Oh, we've corrected it now and we've retracted it." Oh, really? So someone spotted them this time and they retracted it. What if they hadn't spotted them? We've had a third state with that mysterious hockey stick sudden scratch away from where it was going, the projected vector. Now, there's all kinds of other weird things I don't have time to go into, such as election observers not being allowed in, counting houses basically putting blackouts over their windows. Now, I've talked to loads of people, and it's just... I've been to a polling station. I went to the polling station. I watched the count for the Brexit votes. You never do that. Everything has to be transparent during an election. That's the whole idea. But apparently observers were turned away. People, like I say, couldn't look in through the windows. What the hell's going on? Now, obviously, people started tweeting about this and putting posts on Facebook saying, "Look, what's going on? What is this?" Now, one thing I want to make clear, this is not just, loonies like me who have tinfoil hats under our MAGA hats, right? It wasn't just third-party observers who raised this concern. The President of the United States himself, Donald Trump, tweeted this. The moment this happened, Twitter went completely over the top. They went total and utter Orwell. They started banning his tweets. He had 3 tweets banned. I retweeted them and I had to put a quote in and things like that. And they're all covered up by now, saying the accuracy of this particular tweet is disputed. So you had to click on it to say you don't mind seeing fake news. I think it's only a matter of time before they ban Trump himself, and then that will be a real admission of guilt, won't it? And of course, there's some people in the truth. I'm just disappointed with some people because how they responded to this. Obviously, some people in the truth movement are ignoring this because they think Trump is another insider, which is a bit ironic. But David Icke apparently has made a video about this. I've not seen it, but anyway, how do I know? How am I sure? How do you know, Ben? How do you know this is happening? Have you just... maybe you should just have a look and see. Maybe you were wrong. Oh, right. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, BBC Reality Check. Oh, thank God for BBC Reality Check. Oh, I was a nutter all along, and now I've realised it's true. Right, this was... This is interesting. This is US election 2020. How a misleading post went from the fringes to Trump's Twitter. And this is interesting. Look at the authors here, right? This is by Christopher Giles, Olga Robinson, and Cheyenne Sarizeda. Now, I know that last name. It's a very unusual name. But I've talked about this before on this channel because this is part of the BBC's Anti-Disinformation Unit, otherwise known as BBC Reality Check. Let's have a look at this, shall we? How did a misleading post travel from the fringes of the internet to the president's Twitter account? Well, actually, all right, everything I'm going to read you now is complete nonsense. It's backfilling. It's propaganda. It was actually didn't travel from the fringes to Trump. It was Trump who tweeted it first, I think. Or no, there was this guy, this other guy tweeted it first, and Trump immediately followed. It was immediately tweeted by Mr. Makowiak. And Trump, whoever that is, or a journalist, and Trump, he was the first one to tweet it. He tweeted at Trump. Trump looked at it and then tweeted himself, and that's when everyone else was tweeting it. In the early hours of Wednesday, a post erroneously alleging voter fraud was posted on an extreme message board. They can't even bloody write proper grammar. Oh yeah, in a matter of hours, it went viral and reached President Trump's Twitter feed. This is how it happened. No, it didn't. This is not how it happened. The Michigan voting map. A map of voting in the battleground state Michigan wrongly showed an increase of over 138,000 votes for Joe Biden, and at the same time no additional votes for President Trump.
The screenshot was real, but it contained incorrect information. Simply put, it was a data entry error.
Oh, yeah.
Decision Desk, the election data company which posted the map, says it was a simple error from a file created by the state we ingested. The state ingested? The state noticed the error and produced an updated count. No, that happened once. They and then it was corrected. But that was another state. That was a third state. Even though the error was corrected, it provided fertile social media content in an environment where unfounded allegations of voter fraud were gaining traction. And there's this little post saying, misleading. It's from the earliest trace we found on the map being used to allege some type of fraud was on the website 8kun at 10:37 GMT on Wednesday, the 4th of November. What? Happened 10:37? No, it was way before that. It was like about 4 in the morning. 8kun is a message board filled with extreme language and views. It's popular with far-right activists and believers in the QAnon conspiracy theory. Less than an hour later, at 10:56 GMT, the map found its way onto Twitter. It was posted by a profile of Pepe the Frog, a meme popular among the far right. Again, this post strongly hinted that some kind of fraud or trick was to blame, rather than a data entry error. All right, I think the data entry error bit, I think that's what came out. That's what they decided on afterwards when everyone noticed it. Did they really think they were going to get away with this? It's just so. I think they really believed that no one would notice and they'd just get away with it. I really think they would. Let's not forget that this is just one part of a much larger body of evidence. Shortly thereafter, a series of anonymous accounts began promoting the image, gaining significant numbers of shares. At around the same time, the image was shared on the platforms such as Parler, along with online forums popular with the far right. Ugh. Shortly after 1400, I don't know, these times are all wrong. These times are all wrong. 1400 GMT, no, it was about 10 hours earlier. You see, this is all misinformation. It was retweeted by conservative Matt Makowiak, who shared it to his 36,000 followers. He later deleted the post and apologised. Probably someone had a word in his ear. A number of right-wing influencers also promoted the screenshot. I don't know what 8kun is, said Mr. Makowiak, adding that the map promoted by an account associated with the Federalist, a conservative news outlet. I thought it was an anomaly. Never seen an update go 100% for one candidate. Corrected immediately when I learned one county found an error. Well, it was already well on its way to going viral. Another conservative writer, Matt Walsh, retweeted Mr. Makowiak's post to more than 500,000 followers. He added, what's this all about? Cindy Otis, Vice President of the Analysis of the Althea Group, which investigates disinformation and social media manipulation, confirmed the path of the post and noted it wasn't the first time materials from the fringes of the internet have turned up on high-profile accounts. This is yet another instance in which false content and conspiracies have been seeded on the fringe platform 8kun and made its way onto mainstream social media platforms and eventually into the talking points of elected leaders in the US, including the president himself. The vast majority of false information we are seeing about the election, including false claims of fraud, is based on the lack of understanding of how the electoral process and things like vote counting works. Despite many major media outlets and fact checkers, oh, that word, fact checkers, I mean, goodness me, that's straight out of the Ministry of Truth, isn't it? Fact checkers. Pointing out the error, pictures and screenshots of it have continued to spread online. Twitter added labels and restricted sharing of some of the most viral tweets containing images of allegations. So far, it has gained tens of thousands of shares across Twitter and Facebook alone. Images have emerged on Instagram and Reddit and have even crossed into multiple languages: German, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish. Ew. BBC Reality Check. What a load of bollocks. They've got all the times wrong because they're trying to backfill. Backfilling is actually a form of propaganda where you introduce a piece of something fake, something false, something designed to disinform and cover up maybe something that's happened,
and you make it look like it was there beforehand. You make it look like, for example, data error correction, things like that. You say things like that, and you make it look like, oh, this was immediately sorted out to begin with. It's just silly people like Ben Emlyn Jones and President Trump decided to retweet it everywhere, and things like that. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. It's all nonsense. Oh, so I just scroll down a bit. I just copied that page, actually, just in case it was edited in any way. Immediately, the president... See, this isn't just the president tweeting something false. This is becoming the basis of a serious legal challenge to what's going on at the moment. There was a press conference in the morning with Rudolph Giuliani and Trump's lawyers and a massive crowd all around him. And he was talking... What he said was very, very serious. Trump's lawyer, everyone else is taking this very seriously. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't stake their reputations on something that's misleading and misunderstood. It's and then what the response from the alternative community was really great. There was a bit of disappointment because there was a bit of some people such as Sargon of Akkad. Sargon of Akkad did a video, a live stream about this, which was a bit disappointing. There was an element of defeatism in Sargon, and other people such as Ramsey, Paul, Mark, Dice made videos as well, where there was a hint that, oh yeah, it's a horrible thing, but oh dear, they found these extra votes for Biden. Oops, that's it for Trump. Oh dear. And the tone I got from Sargon and from these other people is that it's a kind of acceptance of electoral fraud as a normal part of the political process. And that is absolutely the wrong way to go down. Never, never must we normalise what's happened here. Never. It's a crime. And it's got to be. We mustn't just toddle on, just assuming it's okay, and think, oh, well, maybe in the next election we can do a bit of voter fraud and things like that. No, absolutely not. Any election in this particular instance is null and void and should be completely rejected. It's a farce and it should have no legal bearing at all. I mean, I could go on about this interview. Project Veritas have gathered a lot of very interesting information. Of course, I've had people coming up to me like Bidenistas trying to debate this with me, and to be honest, I haven't been able to. I've debated with one person, but I can't keep debating with everyone. I mean, the same goes like if I'll try and answer people who've taken the time to join the chat box here, but I can't. I don't really have time to pick up every single point. I mean, it'd just be a case of me repeating myself. In a sense, these videos I hope will provide an answer to those people. But I debated with this person who's really pro-Biden, is cheering on, and believes all the mainstream media stuff. I mean, the left and the mainstream media, they're just basically doing their victory dance right now. I mean, that's what Kevin Logan is doing right now. A lot of them are as well. I put a reply to Trump saying, stop the fraud, MAGA 2020, and immediately I was dogpiled by about 20 subsequent replies just taking the mickey out of me, going, oh, do you want a hug, bro? Oh, are you sad? And there was, oh, fuck off, and things like that. They're basically, the mainstream media and the pro-Biden camp are basically, they're just doubling down. They're just ignoring all this. And this person said to me, oh, Trump's a sore loser. He's a sore loser. Really? I think they're trying to claim Trump is basically, Trump is basically like the Ramonas in the Brexit referendum. I think that's what they're trying to claim. Sore loser. I'm just going to give you a little talk about other sore losers, because there's an awful lot of sore losers in the world. Do you want to know how many more there are? Okay, this is a Wikipedia page on foreign electoral intervention. Now, in this case, it's not foreign, it's domestic, but I'll come to that. Because if you want to know who's behind this, I suspect the CIA, because they've had a huge amount of experience. So let's have a look at these other sore losers. History of foreign electoral interference. Bolivian election by the United States, 2002. That's the CIA. The Chilean election of 1964 by the United States and the Soviet Union. 1970 Chilean election by the United States. 2017 French election by Russia. 2007 election in France by Libya. The German election of 2017 by Turkey. The Guinean election 2010 by France. Iranian election 1952 by the United States and the United Kingdom. That's an infamous one, that is. 1996 election of Israel by the United States. Italian election 1948, interfered with by the United States, the Soviet Union, and the Vatican City. Japanese elections, multiple occasions in the 1950s and 60s by the United States. The Korean election by the United States and the Soviet Union in 1948. That basically was what led to the run-up to the Korean War. The Palestinian election 2006 by United States and Israel. Philippines election 1953 by the United States. Russian election 1996 by the United States. Sri Lankan election 2015 by India. Taiwanese election 2018 by China. Togolese election 2010 by France. That's a West African country. Multiple Ukrainian elections by Russia. Oh, I could go on. There's just so many other examples here. It would take me an hour to read them all. Electoral fraud is completely normal. It happens all the time. This list I've given you is real. So are all these people sore losers? Are they? Do you think the CIA, with their experience, especially in South America, Central America, all the other examples I gave you, do you think they wouldn't be able to do the same in the homeland if necessary? What I'm saying is that it's not, leave aside the massive amount of positive evidence to suggest electoral fraud has taken place. Just anticipate it on theoretical grounds. We have a president who's not part of the Illuminati globalists in the White House. Illuminati globalists are in opposition in the United States. They have the means and ability to fix an election so that this enemy is removed. What's going to stop them? Oh, we can't do that. We have to respect due process. Come on. Don't be so naive. I should continue. Okay, so since then, I checked the. I'll check the bloody. I'll check this bloody shit show of an election, shall I? Let's see what's happened. It's become pretty irrelevant, actually. Biden 253, Trump 214. Trump hasn't won anything for over 24 hours. Oh, it's and the BBC they're just repeating this. They're just going along, ignoring everything as if just nothing's happened. Biden widens the lead over Trump in decisive states. Oh, they got the fact check. They got a link to the fact check here. Oh, as always, they're really scared. They're really scared, aren't they? All of a sudden, Trump's losing. Biden, each ballot must be counted. Oh yeah, I bet Biden wants all the fake ones, including the ones that have been printed. The ones that feel warm when you touch them and smell of fresh ink. Your election questions answered. Oh, God, here we go. See the full results live. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look at the map. Amazingly, what's happened? What's happened since yesterday? Pennsylvania and Georgia are both flipped for Biden. Now, Trump had a significant lead in both, with more than 90% of the votes counted. And now, guess what? They flipped for Biden. Pennsylvania actually is where Giuliani did his talk. That's where most of the activism and Trump's activism and his protest has actually been focused on Pennsylvania. But as I said, there are 11 states currently under investigation. The only state still leaning for Biden is North Carolina. There's 95% of the votes counted, and get the gaps closing. It's 50. It's been 50% for Trump now, probably since Wednesday morning. 48.6 now for Biden, so it's closing. There's others such as Arizona is now leading for Biden, but he's leading by 48.6 to 48.9. Nevada, this is interesting. Nevada is still in play, but let's have a look. Las Vegas, the area around Las Vegas, that's Clark County, leading by Biden by a significant amount. Also, Washoe County, 50% by 46. What's out Lincoln County? Let's have a look at Lincoln County. Lincoln County is where Area 51 is. Now, it's all very low because there are only 8,000 people who live in Lincoln County, at least 8,000 humans. Donald Trump, 1,949. Joe Biden, 318. Okay. Oh, let's get those aliens on Area 51 voting, eh? Come on, aliens. Let's register the aliens to vote. I mean, honestly, if illegal aliens from Mexico can be registered to vote so easily, surely real extraterrestrial aliens from Zeta Reticuli can as well. Yeah, let's get a decisive victory for Trump, at least in the Lincoln County, if nowhere else, where Area 51 is, shall we? Oh, what a load! I haven't looked at that map for hours. It's a bloody load of trash. It's absolute trash. Now, what's going to happen now? Well, as I said, this is way better than a landslide for Trump. I mean, it really is. Like I just said, this is a happy show. This is a massive white pill dose I'm giving you here, right? Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Don't despair. Because I know a lot of people are like really upset about this. Trump supporters are like, they're saying, oh no, it's all... Either they believe the mainstream lies, or they're going, oh dear, the electoral fraud. Joe Biden's won because of electoral fraud. No. Winning by electoral fraud is the same as losing. And do you think Trump is going to let that go unanswered? No. He's already launched a full investigation. He's going to expose these perpetrators. And what's more, he's just assigned a new head of the FBI. I can't remember her name. It's Sydney somebody. I remember it's an unusual name for a woman. But she's the new. He's just appointed a new FBI chief, presumably for this reason. And like I said, despite what you read from the BBC reality check, there's a huge amount of evidence here. I've been looking through. It's hard to know where to start. There's so much online, and the only people currently disputing this evidence at the moment is the mainstream media with this fact check crap. I mean, fact check. See, the very term fact check is Orwellian. Facts are not decided by people saying, "Oh, I'm checking this fact." Facts are decided through study, through discussion, through evidence. Oh man. So putting the label fact on it doesn't mean anything these days in the mainstream media. What Trump will do is, I think Trump. In fact, I'm certain Trump is going to refuse to step down, and he'd be completely within the law to refuse to step down. And what's more, I say he has a duty not to step down, because he swore to defend the America from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, what we have here is essentially an enemy, probably both foreign and domestic. I don't know if you even count the globalists as domestic. So he's completely within the law not to step down. He's completely within the law, and also he has a duty. It's his duty not to step down. Trump must fight this. And you know what? All the indications so far absolutely positively indicate he's going to fight it, and I think he will. If this election is fraudulent, which it is, then it should be declared null and void. This means basically that Trump is going to remain the president until such time as a proper election can be carried out. This is wonderful. This is a wonderful moment, ladies and gentlemen. We are watching history being made. This is like the Kennedy assassination or 9/11 happening again. Only this time, the good guys have the advantage. This is really literally, it's like that scene in The Wizard of Oz where they say, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain, and you see this pathetic old man operating a fake illusion of Oz the Great and Terrible. That's great. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat now, and all I'm going to do now is I have to de-troll. As I say, if you've addressed questions to me, then you're going to have to repeat them because I don't have time to answer. I'm just going to de-troll now, which doesn't seem to be very necessary because people actually have... the trolls seem to have given up on me, which is nice. Hello, Seth Fletcher, how are you? On Onslow, hello, Onslow. Diego Rivera, greetings. Charles Unleashed, yes. The last thing I want to see is Biden exposing himself. Preacher Bear, hello. Let's say hello to the new people. Excuse me. I've got this little cough. I don't think I've got the coof. Although I went to work today. I felt really I felt so lacking in energy at work today. It's unbelievable. John Smith, hello. Nihilist Lives Matter. I've got to read this out. Remember the media losing their shit when Al Gore claimed a fishy election. Yeah, I mean, the 2000 thing was just... It's pathetic, wasn't it? I mean, Al Gore and Bush were like, they're just Tweedledum and Tweedledee. It doesn't matter, does it? So, any new people arriving? So if you... Stuart Kirkhouse, hello, how are you? Quantum Vortex Energy, greetings. No, someone else brought this up earlier. They watermarked every ballot with what's called a QFS, Quantum Financial System, blockchain encryption code. In other words, they know pretty well where every ballot is and where it went and who has it. Now, that's actually Alex Ritchie. Hello, how are you? I hope that's true. I'm not sure that's actually true. But Duncan Campbell, hey, Duncan. Glad you joined us here. Yeah, and Duncan says that the Dems have fallen into a massive trap through their own corruption. If this could literally be Trump setting them up. This is just, and well, to be honest, I mean, whether the watermark thing is true or not. Hello, Fenlander, how are you? Whether the watermark thing is true, the watermark thing would simply put the cherry on the cake. I think a cake that's already baked well and truly. Nick, hello, how are you? You're going to have to repeat your questions, unfortunately. Any comments you've left for me, I'm afraid you're going to have to repeat because I can't, because I've got a de-troll. I know Nick was saying something about how he thinks Biden will come throughout this and will come through this better. But honestly, I can't see. I've tried to find a way in which this will end well for Biden and badly for Trump, and I can't think of one. I honestly can't think of one. Who was it? Max Organ. Hello, Max. How are you? Crafty Nihilist. Hey, how you doing, guys? Lime Specs. Hello, how are you? Lime Specs says, "Dear me, Ben, they just have states who do counts in different orders. Some in person first, other mail first. The tranches of votes in urban areas were always going to be heavily Democrat." Yeah, but you see, usually it was the urban areas that declared first. We saw this with Florida and Texas. It doesn't explain the population of Cardiff just blowing out all at once. It doesn't. Nor the other pieces of evidence here. It doesn't. Hello, Hugh Jarsol. How are you? MI6 more experienced than the CIA. Oh, it's kind of the same sort of thing, really. But I'm just going through these. I can't answer all these comments. I'm sorry. I'll be here till 2 a.m. Well, it seems. I hope everything's all right with you guys. Duncan says Sidney Powell. Yeah, Sidney Powell is now the head of the FBI. She was General Mike Flynn's lawyer. Oh, good. Thanks, Duncan, for letting me know that. Hello, Crystal Energy. How are you? Daniel DePercy, how do you do? Someone heat up Biden's milk. And David Schultz, hello, how are you all? Okay. Woody Black says Georgia's going to recount. I think recounts is hardly the word. I mean, Trump is demanding a full investigation, let alone a recount. I mean, the whole thing is just, as I said earlier, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, I said earlier about the polls and the fact that all this was anticipated. Trump was warning us, everyone else, loads of people warning us that there would be this would happen. This kind of exactly what we said would happen. We all said this would happen. I think I've got to the bottom now. That's good. Lisa says, I'm sure most celebrities the celebrities are mostly pro-Democrat. I know. Crafty Nihilist says, we love you, Ben. Oh, thank you. I just said to Mark, please divorce me so I can marry Ben. Mark mumbled something and said no, but you can have an affair with him if you want. Oh, I got to have an affair with him. All right. Max Organ. Justine Maxwell will make a wonderful POTUS in 4 years' time. I'm sure Ms. Maxwell was watching the outcome of this election very, very carefully indeed, because the thing about it is, I mean, what happens now? Oh, there's fireworks outside. I'm not in a war zone. What happens actually is that if Biden were president, she'd be dead. If Trump is president, she'll live. I mean, she's going to spend the rest of her life in jail, but she will stay alive because she'll go to court, and when she goes to court, so much more is going to come out. Hello, Galaxy Lady. The whole world is watching. That's right. It's a good old saying from the 60s. It still counts, doesn't it? Daniel De Percy says, Kamala Harris has the personality of stale bread that's got wet. She has, hasn't she? Honestly, when I see her and Joe Biden together, I'm thinking of the scene in Lord of the Rings, with Wormtongue and King Theoden. Yeah. The Supreme Court, Max Organ has made a comment about the Supreme Court. Now, the good news is that the Supreme Court is very much on Trump's side. I mean, Trump has appointed Judge Barrett, who is his own personal appointment, because she's basically on his side, which means that basically he has control of the court now, more or less. There's 3 opposition members, but there's 9 members, so basically they're outvoted by a whole third. Jamelia Jackson, hi Jamelia, how are you? God willing, President Trump is victorious and defeats these evil works of the devil. Jamelia, yep, he has. I mean, I think this is a victory for him. This is not a defeat. In fact, as I said earlier, he's now in a much stronger position than he would have been if he'd won a landslide, because he's forced the Democrats to expose themselves. And as Duncan was saying, it's possible he's laid out all kinds of traps for them, because it must have occurred to him to do something like this, because he knew they were going to try and do this. He's been saying for months that they're going to fix the election with the postal ballots. Daniel De Percy says, Kamala Harris eats packs of Polos whole, wrapper and all. God knows what she does. Have you noticed about Kamala Harris? She's supposedly... Is she black or is she Indian? And by Indian, I mean Indian from India, not an Amerindian. Ooh, a real Indian. Because people keep saying she's black. She's obviously mixed race, but she can't be both. She's got to be Indian. I mean, her name, Kamala, I think, is that Indian? Jamelia Jackson says, yes, her mum was Indian, her dad Jamaican. All right, so she is both. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Nihilist Lives Matter says the election fraud was more obvious than Pelosi's facelift. Yes. Bitchu says, voting is legit, Biden deserves victory, Ben, face it, you lost. All right, this is the sore loser thing, was it? Yeah, really. Like in all those other examples I gave in South America, all sore losers. All of them sore losers, are they? Like in Iran in 1952, sore losers. On the subject of Nancy Pelosi, of course, is the leader of the House, it's the House of Representatives that basically organises the election. It comes from there. She actually made a speech saying that she said on the 20th of January, the House will inaugurate Joe Biden as president. It's going to happen on the 20th of January, come what may. And she said, actually, very interestingly, she says, I don't care what the vote is. I don't care what the vote says. Now, that alone, from someone in her position, someone so senior, should invalidate the election. Because we have people high up in the US administration saying that they don't respect the results of the election anyway. BitChute says, take it on the chin, you were wrong about Boris. Oh, goodness, BitChute. Have you seen the video I made about Boris? I've already done that. Max Organ says, it must be so annoying when your drink is knocked over by Prince Andrew's arch cheeks. Ask Dershowitz. Oh, I'm sure he's sweating quite profusely at the moment, isn't he? Yeah. Daniel says, Daniel De Percy, the left and media totally unequivocally accepted Trump. Yeah, and a laugh. Yeah, definitely. Galaxy Lady, it's funny how Trump is racist, sexist, against trans rights, and his supporters are chaotic, heinous, and have similar traits. It's sad that half the US is fueled by hatred. What are you talking about? This is like, oh, he's a big orange Hitler. Trump he's the most popular Republican president with black voters, Hispanic voters, women, etc. For God knows how long. Where's the hatred coming from? In the hatred. What about all these people who say Black Lives Matter, kill all white men, things like that? I mean, firstly, the Black Lives Matter thing is literally fine. I mean, Black lives, of course, do matter. But then they say, if you say all lives matter, they say, no, that's wrong, that's evil. Right? That's evil. And so they hate white people. So the left is on a hate trip. I mean, Gareth on Mindset Podcast, I mean, don't know if you listen to that, but he just said he lives in California, which is a very blue state, and he says he knows somebody who said all Trump voters are racists. Right, I want to interject here with an aside, because Lisa in Liverpool is undergoing military dictatorship at the moment. Yeah, that's bloody awful. Max Organ says Nancy Pelosi has a nice set of fronties. Oh, God blimey. She looks... Lisa says she's repulsive. She is. I mean, she looks almost as much a walking corpse as Biden. Galaxy Lady, what dumb things did Trump do? Daniel DePercy, Trump with a huge black vote is racist. Yeah, exactly. It's weird, isn't it? Up is down, left is right. Yeah, it's totally Orwellian doublethink. The slimiest swampy yet after creepy, says Lisa. Yeah. Diego versus Melania and Ivanka centre fault. Well, you know, Trump. I'm sure Trump has already thought of this, and I mean he's already doing it. He needs to watch his family, because they may use his family as leverage. They've done that with Boris, and they may try it with him. But I think I've got a feeling he's already thought of that. Charles Unleashed says Nancy is a Stepford wife. That's true, only she's got slightly less personality. On the subject of the troops, right? On the subject of the troops, right? One thing that Trump is never given credit for is the fact that he's the first U.S. president since probably, I think Styx Hexenhammer said it was since Jimmy Carter, who's actually not started a war or been at war. Now, the US has become increasingly warlike over the last 40 years or so, especially in the last 20 years after 9/11. The US has been virtually in a continuous state of war since 9/11. For warmongers like Bush and Obama, and indeed before them Clinton, the other Bush, and they've been incredible warmongers. Now, what's happened? How many wars have been started in the last 4 years? 0. Trump has not started any new wars. He's not invaded any new countries. And he's done everything he can to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East. He's helped Israel and the United Arab Emirates resume diplomatic relations after, I think, 60 years. He's worked to try and stop North Korea, to resume diplomatic relations between North and South Korea. Trump, you see, he's called this evil nut. Well, they call him the Orange Hitler and stuff like that. But he is a peacemaker. He is the peace vote. Now, in fact, by American standard, he's isolationist. Basically, he's like a 1930s isolationist, pre-World War II American isolationist, like Roosevelt was before Pearl Harbor. And in fact, by the standards of the 21st century America, he's virtually a pacifist. Yet the left are against him. The left, who always protest every bloody war, they hate Trump, and they love the guy who, if he got the chance, if Biden got the chance, he'd take America. He'd probably invade Iran. He'd probably invade God knows how many other countries. He'd take us into another global war. In fact, if of course it's not going to happen, but should Biden, in a hypothetical situation with Biden as president, just count down to the next 9/11. We only had to wait 7 months with Bush. With Biden, it'll probably be even sooner. Biden won with dead voters on his side, said Diego Rivera. Yes, indeed. I think, in fact, I think the record at the moment, as I said, is 140 years old. Someone born in 1880 voted. I think that is that's not confirmed, but if it's true, it wouldn't surprise me. There's a meme going around saying Billy the Kid will be voting for Biden soon. Gnarly Lives Matter says Jimmy Carter never dropped a bomb, but his handling of the Iran hostage cost him his second term. All right, yeah, because that was when Reagan came in. Yeah. Max Organ, how are we going to bomb the Chinese if we have an isolationist POTUS? Well, precisely, Max. I mean, how? Surely all these left wingers who protest wars. I mean, don't they obviously want more war, don't they? Max Organ says Lord Mountbatten was a beauty. He was gay, yeah, but Lord Mountbatten, oddly enough, was killed in a very suspicious act, was supposedly blamed on the IRA, an act of terrorism blamed on the IRA, which looks like has all the hallmarks of MI5. Brenda Lee, hello Brenda, how are you? Let's jump the broomstick, come on, let's tie the knot. We've got a very old lady in chat, a very old singer in chat right now. Daniel says Ben did the white power symbol. No, did I? Oh, what, this? Oh, God. Oh, dear. Diego Rivera says postal votes from the River Styx. That's right. They've been sent in from everywhere. I'm not bad, thanks, Brenda. Diego Rivera says just in. Trump has won. Trump has won. You see, he has. Whatever happens now, I mean, this is completely uncharted territory. This is completely new. This is unprecedented. It's never been seen before. What we're looking at now, where the deep state has been exposed like this. Charles Unleashed, punch in the air, Ben. Yeah, punch in the air. This is complete. It is unpredictable what's going to happen now. It really is. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen because this has never happened before. We've never had such an obvious and complete blatant breakdown of the cover-up. Never before has the mask fallen. Never before have all their trump cards fallen to the table, if you'll excuse the pun. This has never happened before. How the deep state are going to react, I don't know. But we know how Trump has been preparing for this. He already knows what he's going to do because he's been preparing for it for months. Daniel DePercy says it's just Ben. The left thinks it's a white power symbol. I think everything's a white power symbol. Being born white is a white power symbol for them. BitChute says, Ben, have you watched Andrew Johnson's recent COVID YouTube uploads? I've seen a couple of them. Yeah, interesting stuff. I think Andrew is really focusing very much on the COVID-19 issue lately, and his coverage is pretty good. Brenda says, have you heard Trump's votes were marked with watermarks? Trump is a genius. I've heard that. I hope it's true, Brenda. I mean, there have been some disinformation on, taking out pro-Trump disinformation as well, which obviously these things have have been exposed. We didn't need BBC Reality Check to do that. We worked out for ourselves. I hope this is true because it wouldn't surprise me, that he'd done this because he basically set them up. Duncan was talking about this, that basically Trump has secretly been concocting a way to trap them. Yeah, I mean, that's... it wouldn't surprise me, I hope that's true. Because obviously it would really be complete proof. I mean, honestly, without that, we still got complete proof. But this watermark thing, that would put the cherry on the cake. It really would. Diego Rivera says Biden needs 6. 6 what? He put maybe 6 strokes with a defibrillator to get him up in the morning. 6 ounces of amphetamine so he can speak. Charles Unleashed, punch the air for Richard D. Hall, yeah. I'm punching the air, Richard, yeah. Max says, we can't get rid of Nazis. What will I wear to the royal orgies if we ban Nazis? I'm sure Prince William will supply you with another costume, yeah. Nihilist lives matter. It's entirely predictable the media and the Republican Party will sweep it under the carpet. Yeah. Most of his own party hated Trump. Well, in terms of the leadership, yes. I mean, they were all never-Trumpers, weren't they? People like William Crystal, people like that. People like Robert Froome, or David Froome, whatever his name is. These senior Republicans were all anti-Trump. But in terms of in-party enthusiasm, in-party support within the rank and file, Trump is the most popular Republican president in history. And what's more, what's even more ironic is, because the leadership of his party were against him, he's a de facto independent candidate. It's wonderful. David DePercy says, I heard ballots are dipped in LSD. Well, there's talk of some kind of trick that Trump has pulled with the ballots. Brenda, the mail-in ballot votes. Trump said this was going to happen. It's happened exactly as he said it would. He's been preparing for this. Hello, Seth. How are you? Daniel says, Biden offers child Werther's originals to rub his hairy legs. Max Organ says, in the name of Richard D. Hall's balls. What's going on? In the name of Richard D. Hall's balls. That's a new one. That's very witty. Charles says Hall has gone completely paranoid. Well, yeah, he does seem to see MI5 agents under his bed, doesn't he? I've warned him not to tone it down a bit, because he may be right in some cases, but he's like completely over the top. E.T., hello. What's happened to Richard D. Hall? He seems to have disappeared. I think he's probably preparing his next series, because he does sort of like he's not like me that does something every week. He tends to do like a series of programs, then he stops. He does a live tour, then he stops again. He's probably working on research and production design for that. Diego Rivera, did the reptilians vote Biden? Did the Pope pray this morning? Is he one of them? Well, Diego Rivera, it's funny because people said his eyes were all black when he was doing the debate with Trump. Rather like the black-eyed kids. You remember the black-eyed kids, David Weatherly, and what he's been talking about? The thing about the black-eyed thing is very interesting, because there's this drug that people can give you. They can give people if they have like dementia, or they're very, very, they're not compos mentis. It's a type of I think it's a type of amphetamine, which they give people. For example, old people who are dying, who need to sign the will and things like that. You can't take it regularly. I mean, if you take it more than a couple of times, it will kill you. But they can take it once, and it completely supercharges your system. But one of the things it does, the effect it has, is it makes your eyes dilate, your pupils dilate. So your eyes turn, apart from the whites around them, your whole iris turns completely black because your pupils open out very widely. Daniel Pussies, try his website. What? Richard D. Hall? Or richplanet.net? Alright, Daniel, I'm just going to check that. Hang on. Richplanet. It's there. It's there. I thought is it gone? I thought you were saying it's gone, yeah. Max Organ, why has Hall gone completely tonto? Richard is, I think, just working on probably his new series. I don't know. I mean, I hardly ever communicate with him. Jamelia Jackson, is Dr. Nick Colostrum still alive? Yes, he is. I spoke to him just a couple of days ago. Daniel DePercy, come on, man. That's Biden's catchphrase, isn't it? Yeah. Denise Moore, hello. How are you? Crafty Nihilist, RDH, Bob Lazar. Yes, it's all very Bob Lazar, isn't it? It's very Bob Lazar. Max Organ, has D. Hall hit the conspiracy wall? We'll find out in his next series. I look forward to that enormously. Gary says, I had an email from Richard D. Hall a few weeks ago. We talked about the music I did for his last documentary and played him some potential tunes for his next works. All right, Gary, I didn't know you'd composed those tunes. They're very good. I like the one for Almost Identified. That's probably the best one. I think that's really good. That's Hall gone, Lazar. Gary says, Rich Planet website blocked by all NordVPN servers. All right. So he's getting his website deep sixed as well. I think it seems to be happening everywhere, doesn't it? Daniel DePercy, Biden's got a UTI, urinary tract infection. Oh, just sent him mad. I think he's basically got Alzheimer's. I mean, it was quite sad actually when he said, "Oh, this is my son Bo," and this is a guy who's dead, and he gestures towards the person next to him. It's his granddaughter. Give that man the nuclear codes. Max Organ, I used the word tonto in its broadest sense. But I'm glad he's in good spirits, is he, Gary? All right, I'll look forward to his next series. I don't agree with him on everything, but he's interesting. He's an interesting chap. Hello, Equinox. How are you? Richard is a liberal. I expect he's having trouble with a leftist rabbit hole. It could be. I mean, he seems to. He tends to deal with people who are who don't go along with this idea that Trump's any different. So he has Neil Sanders on all the time because Neil Sanders is totally. Neil Sanders is a 2016 skeptic completely. BitChute, just in, Biden wins. Oh yes, it's all in the BBC, isn't it, BitChute? Yeah. Lisa says Richard's a dad. Yeah, he is. He's got a lovely little kid. And I expect he's busy. So Gary, you gave the music for the Manchester one, and what was the other one? Was that it was the Joe Cox one, wasn't it? It's very good, Gary. He honestly, in terms of on the technical side, he puts me to shame. He really does. Hello, Splendid Isolation, David. How are you? Jamelia says, I can't believe the Democrats forced Biden to do it. He looks like he doesn't even want it. It says a lot, actually, Jamelia, that he was the best they could come up with. He was their candidate. Of all the people, they chose him. Gary says, tonto in Spanish is slang meaning something between dumb and the R word, which gets your videos removed. Oh, I see. Tonto. I know it was the Indian in the Lone Ranger, wasn't it? Crafty Nidus. Who did the RAH theme tune? Oh, he told me once, Richard. He told me who does his music. And David Sankey does some of the graphics as well. He's a really good author, a really good artist, a UFO artist. Max says, I have to agree with Neil Sanders. I agree with Neil on some things, like a lot of the mind control stuff he talks about is true. But when he gets into the Cambridge Analytica stuff, and and it says, oh, Trump, he basically believes the whole QAnon Trump thing is a big confidence trick. I've explained in videos why I don't think that's the case. Manchester and Joe Cox, says Gary. This was the music. Yeah. Oh, you do the same for me. Oh, thanks, Gary. Oh, that's great. I mean, I don't know what kind of tunes I could have. I'll just try to think what I can do with that. Yeah. Steve071. Ben, can Trump win via the court? Yes, he can. I honestly think, actually, if for any reason that the deep state get hold of the Supreme Court and fuck it up, Trump should use his influence in the Department of Defense and take military action. I think that's what he should do. That's what I hope he would do in that situation. But honestly, I mean, Trump seems to be on top of this. President Trump is enormously intelligent and resourceful, and he's been preparing for this for a very long time, probably over a year. He's probably dealt with the eventuality that the deep state might try and pay off the court or something. Equinox, is Neil a paleo-anarchist? I don't know. Paul Armstrong, greetings. Oh, here we go. Our favourite black pillar wind-up merchant is here. I'm just only saying that because Paul was negging a bit in the chat. I think he was last night during her Panmo show. Max Organ, couldn't the low calibre of candidates in this election be because the rich and powerful are telling us democratic choices don't matter? I don't know. I think it's a real... For some reason, they couldn't come up with anyone decent. Nihilist says Bernie was better than Biden, even though he's a crazy Marxist. They would probably have got further with Bernie Sanders, actually, because Bernie Sanders is indeed, he's the most left-wing figure in American mainstream politics, but he is at least he has a personality. He has something positive to say for himself, whether you agree with him or not, and I don't. Whether you agree with him or not, you can at least say he stands for something. Joe Biden stands for nothing. Joe Biden is just he's what Christy Winters called, who supports him. She called him a pair of loafers. He's just somebody. He's just a figure. He's just a walking ballot box into people who hate the big orange Hitler can just pour their ballot papers into. That's all he can do. That's literally all he can do. Hey Gary, thank you very much for the offer of the music. That's really cool. I'll have a talk to you about that. Yeah. Nihilist Lives Matter says you're calling for a military coup. No, I'm calling for military force to be used to suppress a domestic enemy. It's not. No, the coup is being done by the other side. I know that's controversial saying that, but that's what I think he should do. I think he should use the armed forces for what it's meant to be used. And so far he has. Trump's policy, military policy, basically is in line with the Kellogg-Briand Pact, which means not invading other countries unless they attack you first, using the military to defend the realm internally and externally. So I'm calling for him to defend the realm internally from basically foreign occupation. So that's not a coup at all. It's the opposite. It's putting down a coup. Paul Armstrong says, I need some white pills. Oh my goodness me, Paul, you didn't need any last night, did you? Daniel Percy says, I hope Trump's final speech at the end will be Biden. Well, Trump will give a final speech at one point, but it's probably going to be in 2024. Or basically January 2025. It won't be this cycle. BitChute says Kanye West would have been better than Biden. Why do you think Kanye ran for president? Because he supposedly suddenly decided he didn't like Trump anymore and decided to run for president. The thing about it is, his intention was because he knows he has a lot of black supporters. He wanted to cut the Biden vote. It was all a big trick. He probably worked it out with Trump. Just to cut the Biden vote. He still supports Trump. Lisa says, feel the truth of humanity and the heart. Paul, all I can say is, I really love dogs. Yeah. Biden is time for the results, says Diego Rivera. Yeah, very good. Equinox says, a lot of conspiracy guys have this view. Is that about Trump just being another insider? Steve Palm, hello Steve, how are you? Ben, please wash that glass. The sun ring around it is getting bigger by each video. Huh? Alright, yeah, I'll do that at some point. Dogs are the best, says Equinox, yeah. Honestly, I understand why some people prefer the company of dogs to that of other humans. Steve071, what if Trump just refuses to leave the White House? If so, then if it's a result of this election, then he'll be operating within the law. He should refuse to leave the White House under law. He'd be perfectly lawfully entitled to do that. And as I said, I think it's his duty, because he has to defend the country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Which means he stays as president under the 12th Amendment. He stays as president until such time as a proper election can be carried out. Which means this one, the one we just had, should be thrown out. It should be declared null and void and thrown out. And he basically remains president until there's another election. Diego Rivera, what will happen to America if Biden wins? Well, he's not going to win. I mean, if he had won, the deep state would basically have recaptured the country. And you'd probably get another 9/11 within a few months, and there'd probably be an invasion of Iran. There'd be a huge amount of... There'd be a lockdown for the COVID-19 thing, which would destroy the economy. There'd be massive... What you see with like the political correctness and wokeism, that would accelerate enormously to a point where it would be just all... It probably wouldn't be... It probably wouldn't even be possible for white people to get jobs. They'd literally be forced into unemployment or something like that. Daniel DePercy, Trump has a massive set of balls. He does indeed. Which is why he's going to win this. Equinox says that Neil Sanders is a paleo-anarchist and won't outright be against government or politicians, but they will not trust any of it. I think he's made a mistake there, see, Equinox. I really think he has. I did a video about this called Why 2016 Matters. David says, redo the election. It's well within the margin of error and ambiguity. Yeah, you basically just redo the election. This time do it properly, which means everything is organised so that there's no cheating this time. It's not possible. So everything that allowed electoral fraud to take place in this particular election is eliminated in the next election. Paul Armstrong says, get Neil Sanders on Hapanwo Radio, I say. Well, Paul, he's been on twice. If you can listen to the podcast if you like. Whether he'll come on again, I don't know. And Max says, Neil Sanders is a good source of information. He is, and he's right about an awful lot of things. Wrong about many others. Onslow says, it's Friday. What had we used to do? Sure, there was something. Watch Crackerjack! Honestly, it's. Let me just check. I've gone through everything on my notes. I think I covered everything. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. Yep, things are looking up, guys. Things are really. This is really great. I feel I'm over the moon, actually. Green Sky 17. Hello, how are you? Would the people at Area 51 and the Secret Space Force rather have Trump? It depends which side they're on. Green Sky. I mean, I'm not sure. Onslow says, Ben, you could use some amphetamines. You know, sometimes I think to myself, you know, I'd probably be able to eliminate a lot of problems if I just took some kind of drug, because, you know, I get drowsy, and when I'm speaking for a long period of time like this in a loud voice publicly, I end up coughing, or I'll start yawning and things like that. So, or my nose, I get a bit of postnatal drip and I sniff. So maybe, yeah. I mean, people who take drugs, you know, they have that. The only drug I take is a bit of Jack Daniels now and again, like on election nights. Max Organ, whereas Ben is a good source of saucy Speedo shots. Oh my goodness me. Max, you've been flicking through my portfolio. Lisa says, anyone with half a brain cell and a bit of a heart would rather have Trump given the other options. Not rocket science, guys. Yes, absolutely, Lisa. Absolutely. I'm glad Lisa and Claire and Cosmic Claire and a lot of other people. I mean, we understand what's going on here, I think, more than some other people who are like really downhearted about it are, because a lot of people feel very, very downhearted, and they feel a lot of despair over what's happened in this election, but they shouldn't. This is not a defeat for Trump. This is a triumph. And what's more, not everyone, I think, understands the magnitude of the exposure, this revelation we've just had from the deep state, from the Illuminati. The way they've blown everything apart, the way they have done. They've blown apart their cover in an enormous way, in ways which I think we won't know for a while exactly how this is going to pan out, because it's so unprecedented. Steve071 says, how will the new lockdown affect you, Ben? Can you get help for lost income? There's things I can apply for, which I won't go into details there, but I am working. I'm still working. My hours are shorter, but I'm working. Yeah. Equinox says, take minerals for energy. A dose of potassium from coconut water. Oh, maybe I'll try that. Yeah, because, you know, honestly, Equinox, I think I mentioned this earlier. I went to work today and just doing a normal day's work. It's only about 4 hours because of the lockdown. But I really felt drained of energy. Now, I had insomnia last night. This is something I get maybe about once every... I get this about once a week anyway, but it always wears off like about an hour before I have to get up, which is really frustrating. But I got out of bed and I just really felt like there was a force of gravity dragging me back into that bed. That's what it was. Max Organ, you've been perusing my synopsis. Is that... Oh, that's on Ben's bookcase. Oh, right. Oh, God, I've forgotten all about my bloody novel. I've got to get back to it. Oh, dear. I'm so sorry. It's taken me... I'm on chapter 5 now, and it's taken me a bloody year to get there. But it's just so much else to do. Lisa says Bojo is Trump without a comb or a brain. Certainly without a comb, Lisa. But I think he's Trump without the infrastructure to protect him and his family, which is why he's failed, where Trump has succeeded. Max Organ, right now, a maternally enraged communist would be quite handy. That's from Blackadder, isn't it? Steve Palmer, Ben, can we hold you to your account on your predictions of what will happen if Biden wins? Or you can hold me to the account of my... Yes, of course. I mean, everything's on record. But Biden's not going to win. I mean, but should he have become president, this is what would happen, yeah. Yeah, do you get insomnia too, Lisa? It's horrible. It's like... I'm just lying there going, just wanting to sleep and I'm not drowsy. And then about an hour before I have to get up, that's it, I drift off and then beep, beep, off goes the alarm and it's like... Jamelia Jackson asks, how is Boris finally compromised? Well, look, Jamelia, look at what he's done since coming to number 10. He, for a while, he was looking hopeful, but then he suddenly changed his tune, mostly from the coronavirus. Planet Earth says hello from Leicester. Oh, good. Welcome, Planet Earth. Is there another member here called Lester who says, hello from Planet Earth? I don't know. Paul Armstrong says, I would hate insomnia. It's miserable, actually, and I just don't know what to do about it. I mean, Shirley Bolstock gave me healing, which helped for a few months, actually. I didn't have insomnia for about 3 months. But it's come back. Onslow says, I can send you some herbal remedy for that, Ben. Oh, thanks, Onslow. Well, just tell me what it is, and I will, and I'll get hold of some. Just let me know. Steve071, have you had any recent ghost experiences or paranormal experiences? No, I haven't. Not for a while. Lisa says, Ben, if I don't have a few wines, I never sleep properly. I sort of walking around the park for a couple of hours a day. Well, obviously, like I do a job which involves a lot of exercise. Not as much as when I was a porter, but still, it still involves exercise. So I get that always helps. Hugh Johnson says, I have a Tommy tank before bed. What's that? Max Organ. Mark Deutsch plays a Hindustanic double bass, superb for relaxation. Maybe I'll play that, yeah. Furious Fapping says, Nightless Lives Matter. Oh. Diego Rivera. James Randi voted Biden. I'm sure he's come back to vote, yeah. Was that Classic? There's someone called Classic Cars of Harrogate spotted. Hello. Oh, I see. Tommy Tank is... Jamelia just explains that Tommy Tank is rhyming slang. Oh, I see. All right. And Paul Armstrong says the same. Right. Thanks for explaining that to me. I see. The chat is going... is starting to get lascivious. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? Because I think we covered it all, haven't we? I think maybe just to knock it on the head for this particular live stream, and I'll come back with another video or something similar when there's a bit of an update. What do you reckon, guys? Anyone want to add anything else? Because if not, I'll say... Bitchu, did you see Tommy Robinson's arrest? Which one? He keeps getting arrested every other week for something or other. Stay, says Hugh. Oh, I would do, but I don't know. It's going around in circles a little bit now. I mean, if you have anything else you want to talk about, let me know. Onslow says I should get some rest. Well, it's only... Love you too, Steve. Yeah, it's only 8:20, but, you know, I'm actually watching Lord of the Rings, the movie Lord of the Rings, because I was talking about it, wasn't I? Oh, where was it? I think it was on... Yeah, it was on a Panmo show last night, and I just suddenly felt the urge to watch it again, because I played like a clip from it. And I suddenly felt the urge to watch it again, because it is really full of spiritual messages and written by someone who was in touch with these sorts of things. And so I thought to myself, yeah, I'll watch it again. I've got the book as well. I've got the book out as well. I read about the first chapter of the book of Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Monopod BS. Hello, Ben. Have you tried valerian herbal tea for your sleep problems? Maybe I'll try that, yeah. I might be able to get some from my daughter's shop, because my daughter is actually the manager of a sort of pharmacy sort of thing. Nihilist Lives Matter. Lord of the Rings is racist. Yeah, they are trying to ban it, you know. This is crazy. I mean, they're trying to ban everything. Oh, if Joe Biden were ever president, that would go up. The memory hole would fill very quickly. With all kinds of books, films, everything. Dr. Stewart's Organic Valerian Tea, Holland and Barrett. Oh, I'll pop in there and I'll have a look. Or I'll ask my daughter actually if she's got anything at her shop about that. Green Sky says, I wonder if there's a division within the Freemasons after this election. Who knows? Equinox says, enjoying your streams, Ben. Thank you very, very much. You do a better job than many Americans. Good instincts and energy. Thanks, Equinox. I know you're American, aren't you? I've got a lot of people watching from the States, like David Schultz and lots of others, so it's really good you guys are here. Max Organ says, so just to clarify, we're in favour of a bankrupted ginger son of a slumlord who's done more coke than Tony Montana. If you're talking about Trump, I don't. Is that a real? Is that a real description? David says Tolkien would tell them to go and do one in Elvish. Yeah, and I'd probably say in Klingon. You know, Monopod. I'll try it, Monopods, because it'd be nice It'd be nice to do that. Yeah. Equinox says Seattle native. Oh right, you're right in the heart of the beast there, Equinox. Aren't you? Anyone who's not a skeptic Biden voting normie is. I imagine you've got to live a bit of a double life. Crafty Nihilist says, before you go, Ben, do you have an opinion on the recent US election? Crafty Nihilist says, I think she's been watching Coronation Street. Both of them have been watching Coronation Street while I've been on. Max Organ, most Obama voters were racist. It's funny about Max, about Obama, because everyone thought we got a black president, racial tensions are going to diminish in the US. They didn't. They accelerated enormously. Equinox, I feel for you, mate. I really do. And Hugo Rune says, cannabis does it okay for me. Yeah, Hugo, we've got to have a longer talk about cannabis, because I'd love to cover that in more detail. And yeah, because, I mean, I've taken it twice, or I took something like it twice anyway. Bitshoe says, good night, Ben, and unlucky. The better man won fair and square. The better man indeed did win, and President Trump is going to look forward to a brilliant future as a president. Yes. Max Organ says, as an Illuminati insider. Oh, dear. Oh, Sue Hayward Tompkins, hello, how are you? Says, my youngest boy lives in Nevada. Anywhere near Area 51? Oh, God. I'm going to call it a night now, guys. All right, we've been for an hour and a half nearly. And Steve071, will we get disclosure in 2021 yet? Oh, yes, Steve. Steve just he's trying to double the length of the... wants to double the length of the live stream. Hugo Rune. Oh, thanks, Hugo. I'll email you about that. I did send you an email about that, and it'd be good to cover the cannabis thing with you, definitely. Trump is going to go radical on this, says Equinox. Trump is going to really. I can't wait to see what happens. It's so exciting. Lisa says, forget disclosure. Can we just have a bloody life? Okay. Thanks, Crystal Energy. She says, good show. Sue says, I don't know about whether my son lives near Area 51, but it'd be fun if he was near it. Max Organ, Trump, the disclosure president. I should let you know that Steve Bassett, I'm going to do an interview with him. It'll be on her Panama Radio, and probably I'll add it to a video on disclosure here as well. So that's what I'll be talking about with him. Yeah. Anyway, guys, it's been a good short. Is it a short live stream? An hour and a half. Anyway, guys, you've been great. Thanks all of you for joining me. For going through. I just basically say a few words. I just wanted to say a few words about what's with the election, and might give you my take on what's happened with the election since the last one. But I appreciate you joining me this evening. I really do. Night, Paul. Night, you very much. Thanks, Woody Black. Thanks very much. Monopods, David Isolation, Nihilist Lives Matter, Equinox, Hugo Rune, Lisa, Steve071, Max Organ. All 64 of you who are still watching. I'm going to end the live stream, but I appreciate you tuning in. Bye, Crystal Energy. Bye, Green Sky 17. Bye, Crafty Nihilist. Take care. And keep watching the channel, because there'll be more videos pretty soon. 3 Kingdom, thank you very much. I'm not sure whether it'll be a live stream or just an upload, but I'm making some more. Night, Sue. Hopefully I'll sleep better tonight, yeah. I slept a bit this afternoon, so that's something before the live stream. Okay, I'm ending it now. Bye, everyone. Night, Lisa. Night, Animal Auntie Bev. And all of you, take care. And don't despair, don't give up. This is what's happened in America is good, not bad. In fact, it's probably it couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. Night night, all of you. And remember, make America great again. Where we go one, we go all.